Hello, welcome back to another video. Delighted to be joined by leading trainer Billy Nelson. How are we, Billy? You well?
All's good, thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on. Just a quick one. Obviously, been busy for yourself in the week. I saw you over in Manchester. Obviously, it's Pat Barrett's gym, wasn't it? You were at this week with Lewis Crocker.
Aye. Unfortunately, the people that were supposed to spar took on well, and Pat was good enough to allow one of his boxers, a very good fighter. Blake's 11-0. A big middleweight, Niall, I think his name was. He was very good to let us at short notice come down and get a good 8 rounds in.
Fantastic. Obviously, not too far of a trip from Leeds to Manchester. You and Lewis were obviously at the Taylor Catterall rematch at the weekend. I'd be remiss to ask if you didn't have one eye on a certain Paddy Donovan in his fight against Lewis Ritson.
Aye, but Paddy was on. I think it was the fight before Ritson. Before Taylor. It was running the mill kind of fight, wasn't it? It was. He was Lewis Ritson was an exceptional lightweight, and I think Paddy was just a bit stronger than him. But that's something he's certainly not going to be against Lewis Crocker if and when they meet.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, wish Lewis Ritson the best. I think he's called it a career after the Donovan fight at the weekend. I noticed you scored the fight 2 rounds to Josh Taylor. So 7-5, did you have it? 1-1-5, 1-1-3?
7-5, aye.
Yeah.
I don't see how in the world one of the judges could have had it 6-0 to Jack. And that's no disrespect to Jack. It's just my opinion. 6-0 after 6. That was just a scandal.
Yeah, I personally had it 4-2 to Catterall after 6, and I scored it 7-5 the other way. But it was a cracking fight, much better than the first outing in Glasgow, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely a better fight, aye.
Brilliant. So, have you any appetite for the third, or is that done?
Well, if the second's anything to go by, then yes.
Yeah,
why not?
Absolutely. We'll get into Crocker and Bakole in a little while, Billy. Just want your thoughts on obviously the 5v5 this weekend. What's your thoughts on the concept, first of all?
Great idea. Great, and they're coming away with even better things. America v Britain.
Yeah, Mexico, USA was mentioned, I think, too.
That'd be brilliant. Be fantastic. I mean, and then they're talking about maybe doing a wee kind of World Cup. Maybe X amount of boxers for each nation competing in a World Cup kind of scenario. I think that's different gravy, isn't it?
I think it adds a much different dynamic. Obviously, they announced it's a $3 million US for the winning team. I assume that split 600 grand between the 5 and the promoter. But I think having the added pressure as a fighter, so you're not only fighting for yourself and your team, you're fighting for essentially other people too.
No, you're not. You're not. You're fighting for yourself. You're not fighting for anybody else other than yourself.
It's interesting because obviously, I watched a bit with Amo Williams and Nick Ball and a few of them. They're really talking about Frank and Eddie and that kind of thing. But which fight are you looking forward to the most?
Probably Ray Ford and Nick Ball. I think Ford is going to be super tight at the weight. And if you thought the Uzbekistani guy was a strong featherweight, then his eyes are going to get opened when he's facing Nick Ball. Maybe he's not as skilled as the Uzbekistani guy, but Nick Ball's a powerful wee man, and I think if you're looking for a big price winner or a bigger price winner, Nick Ball could be the answer and out the 5 fights.
Yeah, best underdog pick. Yeah, absolutely. I think how strong Ball came on in the Vargas fight too, down the stretch. I think he's very, very unlucky not to win, and this should be unification, shouldn't it? Really, let's
probably. And I think Ford will move up immediately anyway, win, lose or draw.
Yeah, definitely he is. I think Eddie Hearn's already pretty much confirmed that as well. To be fair, do you have any predictions? I know obviously the heavyweight landscape's important to yourself and Martin Bakole with the last 2 fights on the card. Do you have any predictions on who you think will win, Eddie or Frank, or any of the individual fights?
Hrgovic will stop Daniel probably. I think Wilder should, if he's anything left, stop Zhang. I hope Nick Ball wins. I hope Willie Hutchinson wins, even though Craig Richards is a nice guy, a lovely guy. I've got to support the Scotsman. But I think he's got an excellent chance. By the way, Willie Hutchinson's a fine fighter, and
Richard's been active too, hasn't he? He hasn't fought.
But he's been a bit inactive. Inactivity can cost you, as we know only too well here. Absolutely. And who was the other fight? Amel Williams.
Amel against Hamza.
And in truth, I've not seen enough of Williams. That Shiraz guy is very good, but it seems to be that he's stepping up in levels, but he looks more than capable of doing so. So I think that'll be the best fight of the night.
Yeah, I think it could be. There's a lot of talk. Eddie Hearn's talking about Hamza Shiraz with his chin in the air, backing up. Obviously, he blew Liam Williams out and around the last time out, didn't he? But Frank Warren's put him as captain, so he has an enormous amount of faith, obviously, in his ability. He's Frank's golden boy, I think, at the moment. So, but you could argue 5 50-50s, couldn't you? It's rare you see that on a boxing card.
I think the Daniel Dubois Hrgovic is 70-30.
Yeah,
Hrgovic.
Yeah, obviously Hrgovic a solid favourite in that one. You have to give Dubois.
I mean, in all fairness, who has Daniel beat?
Yeah. I mean, I know that they say about he's fought Usyk, he's fought Joe Joyce. His best win probably is Jarrell Miller last time out, isn't it?
And Jamel Miller was a 23-stone unfit boxer, and he nearly had him away.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, he obviously stopped him in the last round, but actually came for a lot of adversity in that for sure.
Yeah, I've got to laugh with people making statements on social media saying, "Oh, he must gain great confidence at a fight in Usyk." With the fullest of respect, he gets schooled against Usyk.
Yeah,
he lost every minute of every round and get dropped twice, and then quit on the floor.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think it's laughable when people say Dubois gave Usyk his best fight because he hit him with a low blow, and then obviously
hit him with a low blow. Listen, see, the bottom line is people say, "Oh, the controversial body shot." There was nothing body shot about it. See the top of the waistband. The rules state the top of the waistband is the borderline, and it was clearly below the borderline. At the end of the day, mate. At the end of the day, the referee made his decision, and you've got to abide by what the referee says. And it was the right decision. It was a low blow. End of.
Most definitely.
I've seen many guys. I've been hit low myself. I've seen many guys getting hit low. Now, when Oleksandr Usyk was in the corner, he was shaking, in shock, because it's hit him that low. Now, if you take a body shot and go down, your body doesn't start shaking like that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but I think it's played into Usyk's hands because a lot of people think he's glass to the body, and obviously Beterbiev dropped him as an amateur to the body, and obviously,
well, a lot of people took confidence out of Martin Bakole dropping him in sparring to body shots, but it's not just a matter of going in and trying to hit him to the body. You need to set traps there, of which people don't seem to be able to do against him.
That's it. He's definitely an under the lights guy for sure. Move on to Lewis Crocker then, Billy. Obviously, we were speaking before we came on about how much better he's looking with activity. You're saying when he's taking over in the gym, he looks absolutely unstoppable, firing on all cylinders. Obviously had the Tyrone McKenna fight in December, which I'm sure you'll probably say yourself was an amazing learning curve for him. He could have hit McKenna with a hammer that night, and just he's so tough, just won't go away. Obviously, a dominant points win for Crocker that night. Obviously, then went in January again in Belfast against Jose Felix. Obviously, he stopped Gary Cully, hadn't he? And Lewis just absolutely dispatched of him. Looked sensational. Bit of a different outing, I guess, this time out on away soil, June 22nd in Birmingham against Conah Walker. What are your thoughts on the upcoming fight for Lewis Crocker?
I mean, doesn't matter if Lewis fights in Belfast, Bangladesh, or Australia. A ring's a ring, and the guys across from him, he's looking to do a number on him. Lewis is this, in my opinion, I've said this before, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, and it will be proved. Lewis Crocker is a world-class fighter. He's in my eyes probably the heaviest-handed puncher in the world at welterweight, going in against a good domestic fighter. People, I know he's got a world ranking number 5.
Yeah, beat Cyrus Pattinson, didn't he? That was obviously the.
I could probably mention 5 boxers in Britain alone that would probably beat Conor. Let alone 5 in the world.
It feels like it's the springboard. Eddie and Matchroom definitely seem to be building now towards this Paddy Donovan fight. Is that fair to say? Obviously, it'd be massive over here. It'd be north versus south of Ireland, obviously. Is that fair to say that that's looking like the direction Matchroom are pushing?
No. Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily. There could be other things in the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there is other things in the pipeline, so it may happen, it may not happen.
Yeah.
If it happens, I'm super, super confident Lewis would dispatch Paddy anyway.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you, they do good numbers and it'd be an excellent fight. Both guys really rising through the ranks, both in performances and popularity, that's for sure. But whatever direction he goes, obviously wish him all the very best. Onto Martin Bakole. Obviously, there's been a few developments, Billy, over the past week or so. Obviously, you tweeted out you were offered the Joe Joyce fight weeks ago. And obviously you and Martin Bakole accepted that fight, and then it's been announced that Derek Chisora is now fighting Joe Joyce at the O2 in July. Talk me through what kind of happened there.
Well, we were offered the fight 27th of July, agreed a fuss, and obviously Joe Joyce's team changed their mind very late because we were expecting to go down to for a press conference in London.
The same press conference, obviously, that Chisora ended up doing in the end.
Aye.
So what do you think the reasoning for them pulling out in the negotiations were in the end, or taking the Chisora fight instead of Bakole?
Oh, they don't fancy against Martin.
No.
I mean, they could. No, we're talking about the same Joe Joyce who openly said that he bust Martin up to the body and made him sick in a bucket at the end of every round. Now, why would you fancy doing that with 10-ounce gloves on? Because he knows he's talking shit. Nothing of the kind happened. Martin was sick before the spar at the end of each and every round because of something that he ate. He's a vegetarian and ate something that disagreed with his stomach. But if Joe or Adam Morelli really, really want to find out who's the better fighter, they should have stuck to their guns and kept to the fight with Martin Bakole. But they knew what happened in the sparring. They know what's going to happen with the wee gloves on. He'll get knocked out, rendered unconscious.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Twitter would have been ready for the Billy Nelson versus Sam Jones build-up.
Sam Jones has got nothing to do with Joe Joyce. Sam Jones left Joe Joyce and done his own thing, which he's entitled to do. So Sam Jones is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. I did see that he was part of the back and forth in those conversations.
Sam puts his nose where Sam's nose is no welcome. I got on fine with Sam, but sometimes it can just be a wee gobshite. and that's, I've told him. It's not I'm telling you something I've not told him.
Yeah.
But he likes his wee tuppence worth. For a guy that's not had Vaseline on his face, let alone a pair of gloves on, he's very what's the word? Past remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
About boxers and boxers' abilities.
I saw yesterday, Billy, you tweeted a picture of a quote from Bob Arum, I think it was, about Jared Anderson and potentially fighting Deontay Wilder. And obviously you mentioned about, him bigging up his man, essentially. And it'd be nice to have that, yourselves. Obviously, I'm assuming you're referring to Martin Bakole in that sense. There must be a sense of frustration growing within the camp regarding that situation.
Oh, the sense of frustration's only been about 8 months long now. I mean, I can't even remember last time I spoke to Ben Shalom. There you go. But there has been dialogue between our team and their team, and their team, the promoter. But we signed with Box on the 8th of February. We got a fight in Poland. World number 1 fighting in Poland. dispatched him in 4 rounds, 3 rounds or 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Was
told in September that we wouldn't be fighting the rest of the year because of a reason I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
I managed to get. I was asked if we would fight Takam in Saudi, which saved Martin's year basically.
Yeah.
Done a number over there.
Yeah.
And I think on the socials, Martin's had 2 posts. One was the day after Takam, and one was a few weeks, well, maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago.
This on the posts,
two posts from your promoter. And November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months, and your world number 1. We were supposed to fight a final eliminator for the world title. Never happened. We were meant to be fighting Joe Joyce. It's not happened. No even a mentioner will get you on our show. Nothing.
You know, I guess, and I know you guys would be willing to fight anybody and everybody. Did you have an ideal opponent or path that you want to go down now?
We want to fight for the WBA world title because he's number 1 in it. But we fight Joe Parker next. No bother.
Yeah.
The WBO number 1 versus the WBA number 1. What a fight that would be.
Yeah, that would be an absolute cracker. Obviously, Parker coming on off the back of the beating Zhang and Wilder the main event.
Joe Parker wouldn't take that fight though. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, there's a few. Obviously, everyone always mentions the Hunter rematch. I haven't really heard much from Michael Hunter. What's going on there? But Ajit Kabiel's another one. Obviously, he's come off the back of a few. You know, that would be a good fight.
Have that fight, no problem. But would they risk his mandatory for the WBC? Well, it could become mandatory for the WBC and number 1 in the WBA. Let's make the fight. Why not?
Just a case of, you know, anybody who'll take it at this stage.
Well, mate, say if I told you who'd not just take it, you'd be catching flies.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It's becoming comical now.
Yeah. No, obviously he hasn't fought since Fury and Ngannou, October the 28th. I think that wasn't obviously, you know, for his ranking and positioning. You know, it'd be great to see him out as soon as possible. Hopefully somebody takes that fight for you guys.
Well, I'm hoping we get 3 fights this year before the end of the year, and obviously Fury and Oleksandr are fighting the 21st, and then the mandatories, all the mandatories will get all the belts will get disbanded after the 21st.
Yeah,
and hopefully we'll be in line to fight for the vacant WBA.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, hypothetically speaking, I was going to ask you about it before I let you go anyway, Billy, obviously the rematch of Fury and Usyk on the 21st of December. If Fury gets that one back and AJ beats the winner of Hrgovic and Dubois, looks like that's going to be on the Wembley card in September. Do you believe the belts will still fragment, or do you think the money will talk too much for undisputed AJ versus Fury?
They must fragment them. How long are they going to hold them ransom? Yeah. The organizations need to start being organizations and sticking to the rules. They should never, and no disrespect, as good a fight as it was, see a unification fight, you should never have a rematch in that. Never. Never, ever. That's just holding people's careers up.
Yeah, essentially.
Not just Martin Bakole. Multiple fighters are in line for, you know.
Hrgovic has been in line stages for the IBF, hasn't he?
Sorry?
Hrgovic has been there for a long time for being in line, you know, like you said.
I think he's been mandatory since he fought Zhang, which must have been 2 years ago. Well, that was on AJ Usyk rematch. That's right. That's how long ago it was.
I know that you're talking a good few years now. That was in Saudi. Yeah, that was, you know, that's how long this has been going on for. And like you say, you know, Fury Usyk's essentially been on since October the 28th, the first one, and you're talking December the 21st, a year after, where the rematch is going to happen. Don't
get me wrong, I can understand them wanting the unification for the sanctioning fees for all the organisations. You know, they need the money to support the organisations. But wait, I mean, when was that fight? When was the Fury? A month ago, say? Was it a month ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, it was the 18th, wasn't it? Fury Usyk.
We're having to wait another 7 months for the rematch. So everybody's careers on hold. But
why do you think it's 7 months away, Billy? I know October was originally slated for the rematch.
Listen, that was a hard fight for both of them. I mean, Oleksandr got a cut, I think, at the end of the fight, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
and
it's all injury as well.
See if you were going to 12 rounds with Usyk or Tyson Fury, you wouldn't want to fight the first 7 months, I'll assure you. and it's not just 7 months. They'll be in training camp for about 4 of those 7 months. Yeah. 3 of them in.
Definitely. Can before I let you go, Billy, can Fury win the rematch?
Of course they can. Fury can beat anybody in the world.
What adjustments does he need to make, if any?
He needs to be more aggressive. Box for 12 rounds, or the way he boxed from round 4 to 7.
I look really clean in the middle of the fight. Yeah. Do you think he makes changes to the corner? Do you think, or no?
That's something Tyson Fury's got to determine. He's the boss.
Absolutely. Billy Nelson, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate that. All the very best for the rest of camp with Lewis Crocker. Hopefully we get some Martin Bakole news very, very soon. Take care.
I hope so. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.